there is an audible pop, and everyone says that they hear a pop, and it's also a physical sensation. Now, what I believe this is your consciousness passing through perceivable levels of reality, and that pop is breaking through that exterior shell, auric egg, whatever it may be, that is containing your singular consciousness.
Like a sonic boom?
Yes, exactly. You feel and hear a sonic boom. And once you do that, you then supersede anything that is commonly perceived as human or within the realm of perception.
Leaf Life.
Having piqued the interest of everyone from shamans and artists to quantum physicists, the spirit molecule has quickly become a gateway for those seeking personal enlightenment and insight. So how do I get some?
Good question.
This is DMT.
The original burning bush.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, our first segment, dimethyltryptamine. What is it? And in our second segment, 15 minutes is a lifetime. But before we get educated, we got to get medicated. You know how this rolls. So let's get stoned.
Oh, yeah.
All right, wherever your day has led you, now it's time to fire up, chew up, drink up, get in the mood. As we introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Greg the Guinea Pig. Who's our guest this week?
Greg the Guinea Pig warning. These tasks are undertaken by experienced cannabis users and under the supervision of accredited professionals. So please take our advice and definitely try this at home.
All right, this week's guest is Jerry Mead. He put the trip in tryptamine. He's a truth seeker and a freelance psychonaut. Jerry has been on many of our shows, filling in for Mary when she's unable to be here. And he's a family member of the show. But today we get to use him as a guest because he is an aficionado on a lot of things, and DMT being one of them. Jerry, welcome back to the Leaf Life podcast.
Thank you yet again. It's always awesome being with you guys. It's like family.
All right, AJ, spin that wheel and see what he's going to be hitting.
Let's go.
And now, what's in AJ's stash?
All right, Jer, you've got some bomb 1937. This is a blueberry muffin cart. You're just going to press that button for this atomizer.
All right.
It's 1937 Farms here in the state of Washington.
Yes, they grow out in Duvall, Washington, and it's a family-run operation. We love the guys out there. They're doing the good work for the plant, growing beautiful premium flower, and that is premium flower that's also in their concentrate.
Well, they've won numerous Leaf Bowls, and it is a family operation. It's two brothers. One of them played in the NFL for 8 or 9 seasons, played for the Seattle Seahawks here.
Wow.
And Lofa Tatupu, who also played for the Seahawks, is a partner of theirs. And, you know, they're just dudes, man. Sure, they played pro ball, but... you know, they're good people.
Yeah,
I
down to
didn't know
earth.
any of that, but I've smoked a lot of their flour. This is the first cartridge I've hit,
Oh, really?
and it's amazing. It tastes like candy. It's like almost like a sour candy mixed with the leftover cereal milk after Fruit Loops.
Oh, God.
That's what it tastes like. It's super good.
Well, shout out to
Right
the McCoy
on.
brothers, Matt and Jeff.
No
They're
doubt.
the heart and soul of 1937 Farms.
Yes.
And they really put the love into the plant. And when you love the weed loves you back
That's
by getting
right.
you very high.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
hit that. I want to hit it again.
Sure.
Hit it again, no.
Absolutely. We're blasting off to DMT realm, my guy.
Yeah, it's things like a nipple for you, Jerry. You got to push the button. So, dimethyltryptamine. What is it? We know that it's the spirit molecule, right? What do you mean by the spirit molecule? Where does it exist? And what kind of effect does it have if you ingest it or smoke it?
Well, it was dubbed the spirit molecule by Dr. Rick Strassman, a psychiatrist, in the 90s. He ran a whole bunch of actual lab studies on thousands of people and administered DMT to them. I've read the book several times, and you wouldn't really know this. The spirit molecule came to popular knowledge when Joe Rogan hosted a Netflix documentary by the same name, DMT, the spirit molecule.
Yeah.
And that really raised public awareness. And actually Rick Strassman appeared in that. But if you read a lot more, so Rick Strassman was actually a Buddhist, and he believed that existential experience that comes with like extensive fasting or a meditation or high level, insight and things like that. He believed there was a chemical reason that was happening. So he's the one who started looking for a, quote, spirit molecule and dubbed it such. And during his studies, this was actually kind of sad for him. He went in trying to essentially discredit it, this chemical, which was popularized originally back in the 30s and 50s. It started as a chemical synthesis, and then after the fact, they started finding it in everything, from blades of grass all the way up to humans, everything in between.
Because we produce it endogenously.
Endogenously. And so they were able to identify it after they were synthesizing all chemical tryptamines, essentially. They were just going line by line by line.
Mary wants to know how you replicate androgynously. Just kidding.
No, I do actually. It's not like hermaphroditic.
It's not androgynous. The word is endogenous.
There you go. Okay.
Within.
Yeah.
So we produce our own dimethyltryptamine. Yeah. And he is also the one who theorized that our pineal glands are where it's produced, because they find lots of the precursors that are produced as there as well, like serotonin and melatonin.
Well, if it's inside I'm sorry to interrupt, but if it's inside our bodies, how do I like get it to be magic? How do you like really
so
hard?
So believe it or not, it is all the time. So your brain, they have done studies and found that it's released en masse in your brain at birth, at death, and every time you have deep REM sleep, or what's commonly referred to as a near-death experience, or these nirvana-type experiences.
Like a big orgasm?
So basically, yes, absolutely. During a huge orgasm, your brain has been shown to produce it. And so what it is, they're actually, it's a misnomer to really call it the spirit molecule. They're starting to call it more the reality molecule, because it actually will mitigate our view of reality. And so, like, you get way too much in your body, and all of a sudden you're tripping balls like you've never seen. Too much of it, everything's bland and gray and mundane. Like you're not getting enough of the other one, serotonin, and it like adds to depression.
Yeah.
So like there's very specific levels your body maintains. And thus the reason that inhaled DMT, which is the most common methodology, recreationally anyway, it's very short duration. So the intensity is only 5 to 15 minutes max.
So it's not like acid.
And the overall experience is only a half hour. In the 60s, actually, when it started becoming recreationally popular before it was outlawed, it was called the businessman's trip or the business lunch, because you could go have this all of the most existential parts of a like LSD trip or a mushroom trip, but condense it to a half an hour and get the same level of clarity, insight, out of the box thinking, whatever it may be.
Did you bring any with you?
Oh, let's not discuss that on air, Mary. What are you talking about here? No, it's a felony. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
I think the answer is yes, because all of us have it in us.
Yes.
So how about that?
We're all bears.
We all got it. We're all making it. Okay,
we're
so
bears of the light.
that's the answer I'll give.
Okay.
But yeah,
Good
it's definitely an interesting molecule, and it's very basic, very simple. That's why it's in everything.
Lots of plants, lots of things that we eat or animals eat. And so our bodies actually have a inhibitor that prevents it from activating. So if we eat a bush or a plant or something that has DMT in it, it doesn't activate in our systems. And so that's why when you have like an ayahuasca ceremony, they have a MAOI inhibitor or MAO inhibitor.
Well, so it's a monoammoxine oxidase, and it's produced in your liver. And so, amino acids, right?
Okay.
So, like I said, when you ingest DMT, normally it's not active. And it takes a couple of amino acids to create an enzymatic process to make it active. Well, in the jungles, somehow they figured this biochem out, advanced biochem, where they're like, if I combine this plant with this plant, this one has an inhibitor that stops that production and allows the DMT to be absorbed. And also it draws it out. So rather than a, half hour, it's 4 to 8, depending on potency and consumption level, yada, yada.
It can be days-long ayahuasca trips, yeah.
Yeah, it can change you for life. The same can be said of DMT. Like some people have absolutely profound experiences that completely change the trajectories of their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you need a guide, though, with this, right?
I mean, so I can tell you my personal experiences. I actually had a friend who extracted it naturally, because synthesize that implies chemical production.
Right.
He was synthesizing it from extracting it from plants, just like hash, actually.
Oh, okay.
And our extracts.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar. And that it's like a crystal, just like a CBD crystalline, you know, when you see that, or a high THC.
Yeah.
It's identical. It's the same. Doesn't smell as good because you have to use different solvents.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that, the product itself in that form it's criticized by a lot of traditionalists because they believe that stretching out was done intentionally to allow you this longer time in that realm, so to speak, with the medicine to work with you. I actually like the shorter duration. It's more controllable. It's more manageable.
Yeah.
And each experience is totally different.
Yeah.
So it's very unique, very, very, very insightful.
But to speak to what you're asking, Mary, I do feel that it is a very powerfully potent medicine. Jerry's an expert in blasting off with multiple different types of a lot of earth-made molecules and substances. But this is like a lifetime of experience, I would say, that Jerry embodies. So for the normal person who's listening out there, because we do have listeners all over the world, we're really grateful for you, by the way. I highly recommend doing this in a ceremonial setting. It can be very it reprograms a lot of things, but it can also take you to some of your, most, how would you say, darkest or most controversial traumas that are locked within your body intentionally to help you see them through unconditional love. And I operate in this space. I help host ceremonies with the curandero out of Mexico. We've been working mostly with PTSD recovery vets, and super grateful for the opportunity to help these gentlemen break through walls that are just complete barriers to wanting to thrive and experience life again because of how much pain they embody within. And what I've seen is this. We work with 5-MeO DMT, which is extracted
very different
specifically
about,
from the Sonora desert frog. But it gives
toad venom.
It's a venom. It's smoked as well. It's inhaled. It's about an 8 to 10 minute experience. But what we've experienced after is these gentlemen talk about, really understanding Christ consciousness and the type of empathic love that a mother has for their child. They start to see the world through that lens and their experiences through that lens. And it's almost like wiping a hard drive completely clean and re-emerging out of the birth canal. That's the feedback that we've received from a lot of these people.
Well said, AJ.
Yeah,
it's also very successful in curing addiction for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, a lot of these PTSD recovery vets, that's what they come to us, for. They're either severely depressed, suicidal, coming off of opioids, they're struggling with intense pain, loss, and some of them, one of the most profound experiences was in Alabama with a gentleman who was a police officer, military vet turned police officer, lost his family, only had his daughter left, and he told us it was just a few days before ceremony that he had a gun, pushed to his temple and was ready, sitting alone at home after a long shift with the PD. Aww. And, he came out of that experience just crying, just heartfelt, and explained to us how he believes we help save his life,
Absolutely.
And also that he was like, this is God. I'm an Alabama Christian Republican military vet cop. Yeah. He's like, the fact that I'm here with you guys, this is just everybody will judge me for this essentially, right? But here I am, and this is my first time ever truly experiencing God and the love of Christ that we speak about in these churches, like, I just felt it. It just embodied every piece of my being. And he blessed us and thanked us and asked us to please continue our work, and expressed how important it was for these red states, especially, to experience this medicine. And so we're out there, we're doing that work, and you're also doing that work.
That was a beautiful experience, individual experience for that gentleman. And of course, it differs from person to person. And in the second segment, we'll talk about how 15 minutes can equate to an entire lifetime when you're blasted off. But first, Jerry, it's time for you to play Name the Redcoat.
Oh, how fun.
Hear ye, hear ye. It is by royal decree that we shall now name the Redcoat.
No, we don't like the English.
Not as much.
We love them all.
It's English.
I will say this. They've given more countries Independence Days around the world than anyone else.
That's true.
They've given is where the problem starts for me, Jared.
All right, you're Irish, but do you know your Englanders? The famous ones, at least. Here we go. Well, you don't have to answer yet. I have to ask you a question.
The famous one.
Are you blasting off now, Jerry?
He might be.
Okay, fair enough. Because Wes is.
Just on that 1937.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think Wes was using it as ceremony when he did DMT and I whipped him in ping pong.
That's not ceremony, no.
The only time
if you're
he's
doing
ever
it
beaten me.
ceremoniously, you are not within your physical form.
What's that, Wes?
The only time Ricker has ever beaten me in ping pong.
It was when you were blasted.
That's right. He was mad as a fire ant.
A lot to know this, but Lorax is a tennis champion.
I know that.
Yes.
I know. Whip my ass on that too, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, here we go.
That's weird.
Number 1. This singer got his start with boy band One Direction and continued for 6 years until leaving for a solo career, and is currently one of the most famous pop stars in music. He's English. What's his name?
Harry Styles.
That's correct.
Because you got a Harry style.
I
You
do
knew
got a
that one was
hairstyle.
on
I do. Yeah. That was a clue.
Go
Just
easy.
me.
Number 2, this naturalist, geologist, and biologist published The Theory of Evolution in his book on the origin of the species in the year 1859.
That would be Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin, he got
Wow, Jerry is a pro.
it. How much do you want to wager on your final question?
Everything. I'm all in.
Perfect.
Yes, all in.
Number 3, this man invented the beard trimmer after he had to unfortunately euthanize his baby Cayman, who uncharacteristically aggressively chomped at Charles Darwin's beard when the two scientists were studying tortoises on the Galapagos Islands. He risked it all, Mary.
I did.
Let's see what he's got.
Yes.
He's thinking hard.
Man, who was with Charles
3
Darwin
seconds.
on the Galapagos? I'm gonna go with
Chomped at his beard.
I got no one. Samuel Clemens.
Incorrect. That's Mark Twain.
I know it is. I'm well aware who that is.
The answer is Sir Lorax de Beard.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's why I couldn't identify. You had to have told them in confidence.
Yeah.
They took that one out of the history
Yeah,
books.
it's in the history books, brother. Hey, if you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every single Leaf magazine at your convenience, just surf the web. And look for leafmagazines.com.
Cowabunga.
Coming up in our second segment, we'll dive into how 15 minutes is a lifetime when taking DMT. We'll get another spin of AJ's wheel and kick it all off with another episode of Not for Nothing with Mary J. White. Leaf Live continues after this.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.
Leaf Life.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called DMT. In just a moment, we'll get into how the 15-minute blast off of DMT can feel like a lifetime. And we'll spin AJ's wheel to see what products Jerry Mead, who's a truth seeker and a freelance psychonaut, and put the word trip in tryptamine. This shit's a tongue twister, rather. This show's Greg the Guinea Pig and what he's going to be trying next. But first, it's time for Not for Nothing.
Well, not for nothing. I couldn't help but think it. Not for nothing.
So, today's question, my friends, are elephants people? Let's discuss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's 5 elephants in a Colorado zoo. They're not having a good life. Things are not good in the Colorado Zoo. Okay. So our friends at the Non-Human Rights Project say that the elephants, Missy, Kimba, Lucky, Lulu, and Jambo, should be able to use a process that's mainly for prisoners, but they need to dispute their detention. This group says the animals, they were born in the wild, obviously, and then they ended up in this zoo, but now they have brain damage because it's basically in prison, right?
Yes.
And they're social. They're supposed to roam for miles a day, and they can't. So they want the animals released to, elephant sanctuaries.
Oh.
However, Justice Melissa Hart says, how do I know when it stops? What about cats? What about dogs? What about turtles? Are they
furries?
People? Furries. Are they people? Anyway, that's today's question.
I love that question, Mayor.
Are they people?
Are you smarter than a 5th-time smoker?
No.
Okay.
I love elephants. And also, Harvard has a study. They just dropped a study last Earth Day, so that was 2024, that proves that animals have consciousness.
Oh, sure they do.
Absolutely.
But like comparable to humans. And so I think we're going to see a lot of this in this next chapter.
But
a lot of pushing for, better treatment for
Rights.
animals because of that study. Yeah.
And that makes sense. But come on, they're not people. They're elephants.
They're elephants. They're better than people, man.
Probably.
Are we elephants?
No.
I am.
There you go.
I am an elephant. It's one of my spirit animals.
Yes. All right. Wow,
See, I told
AJ.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mary J. White. AJ, spin that wheel and see what you're going to be hitting next. Like you need any more? Just kidding. By the way, there's DMT in that pen, so let's get fucking high.
No.
Don't do that.
No, not here, right, Jay?
I would only do it ceremonially, so as it stands for me. But Jer, we've got another 1937 treat, a delicacy of Tropicana cherries.
Nice.
We love Tropicana cherries, and in fact, we actually have the flower version out here on the table as well for those of you on YouTube.
Well, you can also see it in our Northwest Least March issue, the flower issue. 1937 farms being featured there. Just go to leafmagazines.com. You can see all of our magazines there and our extensive archive dating way back to what? Let's
2010.
Oh,
10.
wow.
10. When the bearded Lorax just had a little fur under his chin that was spotted like a fawn.
And I had hair back then.
On your head.
That's
Yes.
we became friends, sir.
Yeah.
That's when I opened Conscious Care with my friends, and you came in. And
That's right.
And you took his roots for his hair and
I
implanted
did.
it.
I took them.
Jerry's got massive hair.
Massive.
That's why we used him as the model for our January 2024 Weed and Wellness issue. You'll see the cover at leafmagazines.com. Jerry's laid back getting a spa day with weed leaves over his eyes and some like avocado paste under his.
So
it's
relaxing.
pretty cool. It's a
It was
great
so
cover.
So iconic, the
It was
cover.
beautiful.
What do you think about those terps? This is actually Tropicana cookies times
This is really
cherry
good.
cookies.
It's super, super orange. So I've smoked a lot of this
Yay.
truffle and flow flower, and it's really orange. So I kind of had high hopes, and it met them.
Yes,
This
higher-
is super delicious.
Higher hopes now.
Yeah, they're much higher.
So when we
Love
say
it.
15 minutes is a lifetime, you guys mentioned blasting off. And that's really what it is. It's like you become this rocket, this vessel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you take one hit, you're good. 2 hits, you're like, whoop, and everything opens up. But 15 minutes, you can see your whole life unfold.
So that's, I believe, a misconception.
Okay.
There's this whole, and take it from somebody who has utilized a lot of it, and so they say take 1 hit, take 2 hit, and that's good if you're tiptoeing. The difference is your lungs' ability to chemically absorb. So like cannabis, roughly 3 to 5 seconds and you start absorbing. DMT takes a lot longer. It's more like 20 to 30 seconds. So when you take a hit, you have to like hold it to get an actual like full experience.
Okay.
And I've heard it tastes. I've heard
It tastes terrible.
like mothballs.
It's very chemically,
Yeah.
but because of the way it's produced.
Yeah.
I went to a tipper show at a music festival. He's like a weird, trippy, drippy DJ. And dudes were smoking DMT all over in the audience. And I was like, this is the coolest show I've ever seen, I think. But it fucking stinks in here.
Smells terrible.
Oh, interesting.
But they're like barely tiptoeing, and that's not what to your question, is blasting off.
No, the 5-MeO DMT is the blast off molecule.
I've never tried 5-MeO myself.
We'll have to make that happen, Jared.
I'm hesitant, frankly. And to me, so like you talk about it being ceremonial, I always joke, I call it Rick's portal gun.
From Rick and Morty.
From Rick and Morty as a reference. Because it has the distinct ability to fully shift your reality. And if that's to the lead in of the show, quantum physicists are interested in it because there's a lot of people doing research in multiversal theory, string theory, and DMT is believed to be a technology to access this.
Yes.
Cool.
And so those guys who are taking light hits, the most common method is actually to get a refractive laser, shine it against a wall, and you get really close and you look and you take those light hits. And this is allegedly the ability to see the structural fabric of our simulated reality. So there's scientists now that are trying to actually prove that our reality is a simulation, right?
Yes.
And they're saying that this gives you the ability unequivocally to see this, and it's been performed by hundreds and hundreds of people, self-verified.
Or leave this too, and that's where when you blast off, it's
you're gone.
More like your soul is leaving.
Consciousness rather than soul. It's direct consciousness.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's the consciousness molecule.
Because you do see fractals.
I was going to say.
Those are the stepping stones in. So I believe there are layers, and I believe that when you first take a light dose, you see like everything becomes more vivid and vibrant, and you start seeing really bright colors. You take a secondary hit, things will start to almost go cartoony, like where they're very colorful and bubbly and bright. Then they become geometric, fractalization, colors and patterns that are indescribable by current standards. Like think a tesseract, and that starts getting it.
Or mandalas.
Mandalas, Mobius strips, that type of action, movement vividly, and your physical ability to perceive reality starts to dissolve. Then after that, there can be a momentary slip into what's called into what's often known as the void, where things start to dissolve and you will lose, and it either becomes very bright white or bright dark. And then if you can get just to that, there is an audible pop, and everyone says that they hear a pop, and it's also a physical sensation. Now, what I believe this is your consciousness passing through perceivable levels of reality, and that pop is breaking through that exterior shell, auric egg, whatever it may be, that is containing your singular consciousness.
Like a sonic boom?
Yes, exactly. You feel and hear a sonic boom. And once you do that, you then supersede anything that is commonly perceived as human or within the realm of perception. And you can see things I won't take the time to describe here, but I have incredible stories of fully immersive experiences where I'm in different physical form within cities, interacting completely mundane life as corporal and real as this, with people just like you in totally different forms that are not human, and then right back. And it felt like I was there for hours and hours. And I look at my clock and I've been gone for 5 minutes.
No shit.
And you can't just smoke it and go right back either. It's not like Rick's portal gun where he is in control.
Speaking of Rick, and the reason I reference Rick Portal's gun is because that Rick Strassman guy, so inhalation is the most common technique, but you can also ingest it with MAOIs.
Or
it's
an
also intravenous or intramuscular.
Oh.
So you can just shoot it into a muscle as well.
Wow.
But that gives you the ability to have continuous drip. And in his experiments, he had people under for hours at a time.
Oh my God, that sounds dangerous.
And they described experiencing entire lifetimes. And it's not. These were all done in clinical settings, in hospitals, with, he was a psychiatrist, so proper integration. These were, federally funded medical studies.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and in the 90s, not that long ago, 30 years ago now, but not that long ago. And he's working to get more going now.
Do we know what happened to his patients after? Do we have
Yes, there was lots of follow-up. There was very, very little negative. People reported what they, describe as bad trips in the moment or difficult trips. I, for one, don't believe there's a bad trip. There's simply resistance. And when you resist things, it makes it a lot harder and it sets a different tone for the experience. So you have to be willing to accept and embrace. You know?
Yes.
And I definitely believe in that, ceremonial setting. And I don't want you to think that I'm just like at a concert is the worst possible place. Because if you're blasting off, you are physically incapacitated. You are unconscious on the floor. I've also seen people completely blasted off, rolling around on the floor, getting right up in people's faces, opening their eyes. Their eyes are 100% dilated.
Oh, God.
And they're closing them and laying back down.
This is why it's
very active. That's why it is not a party drug.
No.
It is not a social drug. It is something to be respected and used properly under the proper setting as with all psychedelics.
Studied.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. Study is most important because I truly believe that this is a technology to allow us, as those quantum physicists are believing, to actual physical places. Because if you do it consistently over extensive long periods of time, you will start interacting with the same. Now, this is deep diving, but there are what they call entities who are singular individualized consciousness who will approach you and talk to you and like I was describing, and you'll start to meet the same people, and then other people
report those things. And this has happened around the world where people report interacting with the same entities. Which could be angels or demons or entities. It's very hard to say. It's hard to.
It's a different.
Well, they're not all
reality.
good,
but they're similar.
Bad.
They're similar. It's very interesting because the chemical variety of DMT that I'm seeing, younger kids, it's circulating in vape pens and stuff. The experiences are very different, and it's it shows up to them with an agenda. But with the 5-MeO, it is there is no possible agenda. It's just a complete release. I can feel myself getting high right now just talking about it because it's triggering these memories. But I just want to say that what it shows you is how planets are born, and you feel it, you experience it all the way. So there's no cognitive sense. It just takes full control. And I find it I feel like for young kids out there or anybody who's interested, please don't try this at a concert for your first time. Even if you have a supportive group of friends, I'm urging you because of the loss of control of body. You do lose control of your body. You could really hurt yourself.
Anything else we need to know about it?
So I think one of the most important things about it is that it is to be respected. As AJ was just saying, I've been in groups where we were in public at a laser show and somebody handed a DMT, into what was a THC circle, vape, and somebody randomly hit it, and oh God, they just went down.
Yeah, because you'll fall.
This is not
full control.
Not a party drug. Respect it. That's the most important thing. The thing that I personally would like to get out is my own personal belief system of what I call relative perspective time dilation, which essentially is, how every single person, as you age, time seems to go a little bit quicker.
Yes.
Right? And it's a different experience for every person. Well, I believe that that's relative perspective. When you're 10, a year is a 10th of your life.
Yeah.
When you're 40, it's a 40th of your life, right?
When you're 72, it's
a
scary
blip.
And
Smash Mouth says, the years keep coming
hot.
and they just keep coming.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening faster and faster and faster and faster. And everyone tells us that when you're young and you're you don't really understand.
Yeah.
But as you go, it happens. And all of the major belief systems tell you that if you want to suspend that, it's about being present. It's about being in the moment.
Yeah.
And I believe that with this technology, we're given quite liberally by this universe the ability to live multiple lifetimes within a moment.
Yes.
Yay, let's do it.
Yes, I would say yes. That's.
It shouldn't be used to play ping pong?
I mean, not if you're trying to win, obviously.
All right. Jerry, you're awesome. Now it's time for you to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth-Time Smoker?
Joints or dabs or big bong tokers. So damn I can't get much stoner, but it's time to play. Are you smarter than a fifth-time smoker?
Here's Ricker.
All right, brother. So, I want to do it. I want to blast off now.
All right.
You know, I did a mushroom trip a couple months ago, and it was profound.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the next thing for me is, and I have done ayahuasca, and that was very profound.
And that is DMT.
Almost 10 years ago, and it is DMT.
Yeah.
But I would like to do
the blast.
A ceremony with you, blast off.
And see, now that's
I think I'm ready, bro. I've always been too nervous. People have offered me vape pens. I've owned vape pens, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Same.
You're probably wise for that.
All right, cool. So I'm going to count on you. We're doing a ceremony. So are you smarter than a fifth-time smoker? And Wes, too. We should both do it at the same time.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you can't just suggest others in the ceremony. That's
Listen,
it'd be
that's a violation.
It'd be good for our marriage, okay? All right, here we go.
No, you can't do that. You got to.
Right, thank you, AJ.
The medicine has to choose you.
Number
I'll
one.
take that over sexual healing.
Sometimes it's that.
On the entire planet, which country?
Wait, are you saying you get laid interdimensionally?
Well,
yes.
Okay, wait, we got to unpack this for a while.
Oh,
have you
for
had
sure.
sex
You guys
as an alien?
In your own magazine, you had Shane Moss. This is how I was really convinced to
Which
try
was because
DMT.
of you.
He's a
It was
psychonaut.
because of me. I did arrange all that, getting him in because I knew who he is.
Thank
and
you, Jer.
I hit him up and I'm like, bro, do you want to be in an awesome magazine? He's like, yeah. And it made it happen, right?
Hell
So
yeah.
this
Community.
guy has an interdimensional girlfriend named the Purple Woman.
Yes.
He has a relationship with who gets jealous of this dimensional girlfriend.
Oh, Jesus.
Who he's met several times.
Oh, that
He's
could be very
blasted
dangerous.
off other friends with no prerequisite information. Just like, I don't want to lead the witness. I'm going to let this guy experience it and have his experience. The guy goes in there. He starts seeing what, people like Alex Gray and Timothy Leary described as the machine elves, right? And these are entities that start coming out to talk to him.
Yeah,
And those entities are afraid of this guy, and then Shane says something, and they hear Shane's voice in this guy's head, and they're like, wait, you know Shane?
Oh, my God.
And they all come out and start talking to him. And then this dude, out of nowhere, is like, hey, Shane, there's some woman here. This purple lady here. She's here telling me to tell you hi with no prior knowledge. That's when I was like, what is this?
Bro.
But anyway... Yes, there's interdimensional girlfriends, bro. Let's do the game, though.
See, those are called succubus, and they are written about in ancient times.
Trust me, I've met many on this plane,
one
too.
One of the oldest demons of all time. We avoid those by all means necessary.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to this is a good topic, but I just have to say, okay, this is the difference. If you're choosing the journey, there's the ceremonial way where that is not possible. There is no agenda there. There is just mass expansive unconditional love. And it is highly orgasmic. But then there's the other, which is the chemically derived, created by man, so it has a man's influence.
No, I'm talking about natural.
Okay,
I'm not talking about synthetic.
AJ,
Well, I
it's
don't
not-
know. Then what's the
this
difference?
is-
You're talking about 5-MeO-DMT, which is animal derived from venom from a toad. I'm talking about N1N-DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is derived from plants.
Oh, so the plants have the agenda.
It's the primary ingredient in all ayahuasca ceremonies. It is the
Same
exact same ingredient extracted from those plants.
Why
There's
is it so
actually
different, the
a
experience?
shortage in the Amazon right now because of all of us Westerners who are obsessed with it, going down and having these ceremonies, buying the plants in mass and extracting it. So it's the same deal as the ancient ceremony stuff that they were doing in the Amazon.
Whoa, so what are these entities? They're tied to our plants?
There are countless entities. Just YouTube DMT entities. There's countless. Look that up. There's an hour-long video.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It feels very strange
For
because it has an
real.
agenda.
Yes.
Hey, I'm good on the game, bro. Just
All right,
fuck that. Who cares?
Topic, right?
Nah, that's all right. Here we go. Number one. On the entire planet, which country has the largest legal cannabis market?
which has the largest legal cannabis market? I would say the U.S., but is it maybe Canada?
It is the United States.
It is.
It is the U.S.
All right,
you're wrong.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it.
But maybe
Who cares?
largest production because they don't have limits like we have.
All right,
here.
Jerry. Fuck.
No,
Jesus.
anyway.
Jeez.
I'll
Are you
lose it.
smarter
I'll
than a
lose
PhD holder?
I don't
Jerry
know, man.
Mead?
Jesus.
No,
Number 2.
I went to the worst school.
What is the name for a glass unit that is used for
You are.
vaporizing cannabis concentrates?
For the glass piece that's used for vaporizing it? Like the banger or bucket or terp slipper?
It's a dab rig. Jesus
Dab
Christ.
rig. First thing that came to my mind was dab rig.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
But he's a true expert. He got
I'm a
down to
little
the
literal
specifics.
I don't need you to tell me, AJ. I know. I mean, the guy is
sorry.
fucking brilliant.
What was in that
An
pen
OG,
you gave
baby.
me?
Ooh, DMT. Number 3. Who is the benevolent dab rig toting character known for a significant amount of facial hair who can be found venturing through the Pacific Northwest, nesting atop snowy evergreen trees with Goldie the Golden Eagle and sniffing blossoming spring daisies with Gavin the Gopher and tail popping in summer frolic ponds with his bestie for the resty, Mr. Beaver?
I'm going to get one. It's the bearded Lorax.
That's correct!
See, getting higher makes you more accurate with bearded Lorax.
That makes sense. I'm on that
Facts.
level.
Jerry,
Lorax.
where do we find you on social media? Everybody's going to want to know.
I'm at the Ganja Jinja, and I do not provide ceremonies. I have a strict policy against purchasing DMT. It has to be provided. Like AJ said, it finds you.
Yeah.
Fair.
And but yeah, my personal is at the Ganja Jinja.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. We love you, bro. Hey, Wes, next week, bongs.
I do like those.
What the bong is going on?
You remember when you couldn't call it that?
God.
When the bongs were in the dongs shop? Is that what you're talking about?
Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. And please subscribe on YouTube at Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now get ready for another episode of Stony Baloney, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And please be kind to animals and the purple lady.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies. Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Utah Leaf, Northeast Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer. Now, please stay tuned for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Your GPS lied to you. The tragic miscalculation of digital driving directions can be the cause of great stress. Because when you're lost, everything appears foreign. Your surroundings are unfamiliar. You find yourself flustered and exposed. This is a dark and confusing place where suddenly every turn, every sidewalk, and every street light look identical. Your sense of security vanishes, leaving you vulnerable and frightened, the anxiety heightened. You feel betrayed by the soothing, relatable personality inside of your electronic device, as their lack of sound decision-making seemed almost purposeful. The voice you once believed is now a clueless idiot, and you are determined to get even with a brazen scolding. You will belittle it, call her a bitch or him an asshole, condemning their actions with caustic flair while detailing the irreparable hassle and embarrassment you'll endure due to their lack of focus. At some point, you may forgive them, but now is not the time. You are lost and late, and the world is in a state of utter peril that may take years to repair. However, although it doesn't feel like it, this is no one's fault. You do feel a sense of responsibility, though, for having blindly trusted what used to be a credible source. So, to rectify the blunder of placing your faith in this digital confidant, you will take uncharacteristic chances in the attempt to absolve yourself of any further regret. There is no time to waste on getting to the original course. So you will make illegal U-turns across center dividers and irresponsibly hit the brakes on a busy thoroughfare. You will knowingly break the law, nervously cursing while backing up on a one-way street to return to the exit past. 95% of the time, however, this device is correct. Therefore, you should reward your GPS system. I recommend a digital blowjob. You take a puff from a vape pen and exhale it into the screen.
Stony baloney.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.